Sometimes there are people who I believe will try to suggest that God is, this God stuff, this is for church on Sunday mornings. You go to church and then you leave it at church. Or it's maybe, if you want to do it, it's for your private religious thoughts. But this Christian faith thing, this stuff about having a relationship with God, that doesn't apply to real life. This God stuff, this is irrelevant when it comes to real life. Some people would say things along those lines. What I want you to know is that's not true. That is so not true. In fact, if somebody says something like that, I would suggest that God's irrelevance to life isn't the real issue even. That's not the real problem. I think for many people who say things like that, it's actually a little bit of a smokescreen. The problem that many people have with God, if they've really looked into God in any kind of a serious way, if they'll be honest about it, is that He's too relevant. Yeah, like God and His truth and what He would have to say about our lives, what He would speak into our lives if we take Him seriously, might just interfere. Yeah, it might be a little uncomfortable, might be a little too challenging, might hit us a little too close to home. That's how relevant He is. God is not irrelevant. For many people, I believe, this objection is actually because He's too relevant. Let me give you an example. Let's say, like just a real life, for people who work in the business world. Go to work every day in the business world. What God has to say about being honest in your world, what God has to say about being fair in our dealings with people, about treating people the way we would want to be treated. What God would have to say about not seeking revenge. That might just get in the way of the typical approach we like to operate with. Again, it's not irrelevant, it's too relevant. There's a very witty and eloquent writer from a bygone era. His name is G.K. Chesterton. Some of you have probably heard that name before. Chesterton, he wrote this. He said, "The Christian ideal has not been tried and found wanting. It has been found difficult and left untried." Very insightful. Hey, I'm curious, did you ever find yourself avoiding God's way because actually it was a little too challenging? Or maybe you avoided God's way because it wasn't going to be comfortable to do it God's way. You been there? Yeah, me too. Christianity is relevant. And don't worry about that. As God's relevant, He'll always be relevant. The problem for some is actually that He's a little too relevant. Hey, you know what? I'm going to be talking about this very subject in a little more detail tomorrow. It's Sunday, November 18th. I invite you to come out and join us. First Church of God in Oak Lawn. Come on. Come and join. You'll be blessed.